Welcome to Cape Breton Movers and Shakers, where we have conversations with people who are doing positive things here in Cape Breton. My name is Richard Lorway, I'm president of goCapeBreton.com. And with me today is Keven Taylor, co-founder of Island Sauce Company in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Welcome, Keven.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Appreciate it.
Great. So how did Island Sauce Co. get started?
This is a unique story because it's kind of different than what most people think of. So basically, I wanted to become a business owner. I was a long time. I worked in the food industry for a long time. Was a student at CBU and kind of traveled the country and just try to figure your life out and what you want to do. And I always kind of knew I wanted to be a business owner. And it wasn't that the sauce company was something I had thought of for years prior to this. And it's not like I had mom and dad's secret recipe from years prior and stuff like that. Basically, I want to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I wanted to do a certain type of business. So we look at businesses like East Coast Lifestyle, which is the clothing company here, Nova Scotia Spirit Company, Breton Brewery. It was that type of business model and that type of kind of company and business I wanted to open. Now, with that being said, there was already a successful clothing company here, and there was already multiple breweries at this point in time when I wanted to open a business. There was already, an alcohol spirits company and plenty of wine companies and stuff. So, being from the food and beverage industry, I did a lot of market research on the sauce industry, and there was a big gap and void in the market within the Canada, the Maritimes, and then Nova Scotia and Cape Breton specifically. There was not really that kind of a local niche product and services. It was kind of wide open. There was it was something I did a lot of research on, because before you dive in and start a business, you want to think you have a chance to succeed, obviously. So we saw a real big opportunity, and there was no one really doing what we thought we wanted to do, and we thought would be successful in the space. So when I kind of got on that, which I was a food and sauce, connoisseur anyways, I grew up in the food and beverage industry. So once I kind of came up with the whole concept and idea, that's when I approached Nathan Susan, the chef and part owner of the company. And then that's when we started collaborating and start building the idea and the vision of Island Sauce Company.
Great. So in a way, what you're saying is you wanted to start a company that had a sort of an East Coast branded lifestyle aspect to it,
right?
And that you could build on and you build a local community and you take it in a variety of different directions, kind of thing. Right. Yeah.
So it's something that you can enjoy. Like I'm not big on, let's say, vacuum cleaners or whatever. It's not something that you can kind of put your personality behind. Right. And so it was something that we wanted to have that we can put our personality behind, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely makes sense. Absolutely. So did you also see? So you settled on sauces, condiments. Did you see kind of a gap in, if you know what I mean by the taste profiles? Like Kraft is obviously the big company that does huge volume barbecue sauce, but there wasn't. Was there a gap in terms of types of tastes and experiences that you could see on the shelf?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So like I said, I did a lot of research and market research and kind of stuff before I started the company. And there was gaps in two different ways. There was gaps in the products themselves and the flavor profiles. If you take a look at our products, they are different than everything, most things that are on the shelf. So Cape Smoky Barbecue, it's an entirely new barbecue sauce that you don't see typically on the shelves. Our Love Rub, our jalapeno and garlic seasoning. There's a lot of different products we have that we saw there was a gap in terms of the kind of the flavor profile and the quality of the product. But we also saw a gap in like the marketing and the connection with community and customers. We saw the gap there too. So you look at all those kind of brands you mentioned, Kraft, there's Bullseye, there's a whole bunch of, none of those companies were active on social media. None of those companies were engaging with their customers. None of those companies had a face you could see in and Nate, and they weren't contributing in our communities. They weren't donating, being good corporate citizens, hiring, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
So we saw the gap in both aspects of the business.
Right. So they just had a huge commodity approach to the way that.
Yeah, and they basically took it for granted. They're because they have such a for such a long period of time. All they basically have to do now, and especially in our region, is basically they just put their product on the shelves, and that's all they did for us. They didn't promote, they didn't contribute to their community. They weren't even active on social media with content. There was a whole
Right.
bunch of things they were lacking that we thought we could take it, capitalize on.
Okay. So you had the concept. How did you and Nathan develop the recipes?
Well, Nathan is he's the
He's the
culprit
chef.
behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the chef, and I mean, like I said, I work in the food. I'm a food or condiment connoisseur, so I contributed for sure. And actually, two of our products Nathan had already developed in his time as a chef. He had in his back pocket. Yeah, and then we've collaborated on our other three products. And if you look at our products, like we try to be diverse. So like our three sauces, smoky, Cape Smoky, Highlander honey, and spicy chipotle. So you got your sweet, your smoky, and your spicy, all with their own kind of distinctive spins. Then, like I said, I mentioned our seasonings before. We had the Love Rub, which it's kind of funny name, it's marketable, and it's different than anything else out there. And then we also have our jalapeno and garlic seasoning. Now, to touch on that a little more, we try to be different because we've had people come and ask me like, oh, why don't you do a steak spice or something like that, which we probably will at some point in time, but there's already so many steak spices out there, and there's already Montreal steak spice. So we wanted to do something different, something that wasn't already out there, to bring something new to the customers and add value to the customers with stuff that's new and innovative.
Okay. So do you have a permanent production facility at this point?
Yeah, so I guess the process of how we develop the recipes, we would hop into. I have my own commercial kitchen now, as most of you that are watching this know. But we used to rent a kitchen, and we would just tinker and just play around and have some fun. And then now we have our own. So we're lucky to find the company and the vision we had. It took us a long time to get this going, because one of the biggest problems we had was there was no production facilities capable of doing the volume we wanted to do here in Nova Scotia.
Right.
Luckily, a gentleman named Paul Hill, he owns a sauce company and they're located in Halifax called Hill's Jamaican Jerk. He stepped up to the plate and he invested a lot of his own money and built his own production facility and to produce his products. And then he now seconds as a co-packer for multiple other sauce and food, not even just sauce and food condiments, but a variety of food products, food manufacturing. So our full-time production facility is just outside of Halifax, and it's run by Paul Hill from Hill's Jamaican Jerk.
Perfect. So once you had the production and the packaging figured out, like, what was the next challenge? Is that distribution?
Well, let's take a step back here. The challenge was the facility was the biggest obstacle,
Right.
and that kind of tied hand in hand was getting funding, because I'm just a regular guy. I don't come from a lot of wealthy family or anything like that, and so. Yeah. It was a tough sell for like when we were trying to get investors or people to traditional lending institutions to get the funding. So the funding it took me so long. It was I don't wish it on anybody how hard of a struggle it was to both find the facility and then get the required funding, but they kind of went hand in hand. And then when I finally put it all together, a pandemic hit. So that was another obstacle I had to go through, but I forget what the actual question was, but the obstacle was the funding and the facility, and that kind of came hand in hand. And finally, we had the City Credit Union, which is more of a local banking institution, and Futurepreneur Canada. So once we got the funding and someone that actually believed in me and believed in us in the vision, and then the facility, then we were off and rolling. And the I think as you asked about distribution, not as hard as you think. It's once you have a quality product and you're getting it done at a federally inspected facility, and if you're doing your job like I feel like we are on the marketing side and putting out a quality product, the snowball effect happens pretty quick. It took us, we had to get in Sobeys and a few we started the smaller grocery stores, then we got in a few Sobeys, and now we're actually listed by Sobeys. So in theory, once we get the and our capabilities to do so, like theoretically we could go in every Sobeys in the country. because we're now listed through like Sobeys corporate nationally.
Gotcha. So can you scale up with your current production facility, or are you looking down the road at building your own, or how's that?
There's a couple things. So yes, we can scale up with our production facility. Production has not become a problem in terms of the capabilities. Maybe someday it will, but we have thought of maybe, building our own someday. But what I will say too is we work with Paul hand in hand. He's a great guy. We have a great relationship with him, and he wants to scale up his operation too. Right. So as we build and grow, because he has other customers as well, we can build and grow as well. And our scalability they kind of are tied together. He's already looking at doing moving into a bigger facility, hire more staff, but it's not out of the realm of possibility where we open and build our own. It's something we'll just have to look at in the future.
Okay. So I want to talk a bit about the Island Sauce brand. I mean, as you know, brand is more than a logo. It's a variety of attributes. Part of it is the personality, which you mentioned earlier. The mission, how people respond to you. So can you talk a bit about the Island Sauce brand and what is the personality, and how do you work with that in the marketplace?
Yeah, I really thanks for bringing that up, and I really appreciate it, because I think it's really important, and it's something we care about so much. And that's as I kind of alluded to before with what we saw with the more national and not even Canadian run sauce companies that we've become accustomed to, that there wasn't a lot of the aspects, especially in our community, and even broader than our community, even Nova Scotia, the Maritimes, even nationally. And like me and Nathan, we're regular guys. You can see our face. We're just like you. We're your neighbor. We're your brother. We're your sister. We're your uncle. And we want that feel to go throughout the company. And we care. Like, we want to have some fun with this. We want to collaborate and share and have something we can all be proud of. Like, I don't feel like this is mine and Nathan's company. I feel like it's all of our company, and we can all have fun with it, contribute to it, make some cool meals, post on your Instagram, tag us. We'll give you, we'll have some fun with it, create a personality. And we want to be good corporate citizens. We want to build jobs in the community. We want to contribute to the community. We want to have fun with this, and have products and services people can be proud of, and build a better life for our community. And the community can be Cape Breton, it can be Sydney, and it could be Canada. So we want that to shine through in our brand. And we have some funny videos, and we like to do some stuff. And anyone who's dealt with us knows that like the customer service is really important to us. We try to do our best we can. Like, we're not perfect. We make mistakes sometimes. But you can tell that our heart's in it, and we want that to shine through in our branding. And like I said, have a little fun along the way. So.
Gotcha. So yeah. I noticed that I've seen some of Nathan's cooking tips, like barbecuing tips on YouTube and those kinds of things. Right. And you mentioned that you're always looking for feedback. So do people share ideas and recipes with you? How do you sort of incorporate that into your future developments?
Yeah, that's the fun part about it, is that like we get so. If one of the problems we have with the company now is like, I'm doing too much, and we have to hire and to kind of to build out, because we have so many ideas that we've gotten from people with products and stuff like that. Not even just ideas, but feedback on our own products and stuff, and just your natural kind of personal like recommendation. So like someone says, oh, hey, I use the sauce in a meatloaf or whatever, and you kind of have fun with it, like a lot. Like, you interact with the community, and some of it you apply to your business. You learn, you see what works, what doesn't, maybe a cool idea that you have for a new product or whatever it may be, or a special at our takeout food shop. And then some of the stuff is just that connection, that community where it might not apply to your business, but you're like, oh, I never thought of using the sauce that way. Honey, guess what's for supper tonight? We're having meatloaf with Cape smoky barbecue sauce. So there's that aspect of it too, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does kind of. So does Nate, you guys plan to do more cooking, barbecuing tips videos?
Yeah. So we did that. We filmed that last year, and we put it out. And one thing we want to build on our company is the YouTube side of it, and those type of videos. So we do have several of them, and we do them in less I guess, professional form on our Instagram. We do little like quick little videos, quick hits
Right.
that are professionally produced on our Facebook and our Instagram. But that is something we want to focus on. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So, any new recipes in the works you'd like to share at this point, or is it all?
Well,
medium out?
as of right now, we have our no, but I'm glad you asked that question. The things we're looking to focus on now. So our what we wanted to do was we plan on coming up with a third seasoning. So right now we have our three, they're like our flagship products. That I mentioned before, our three sauces, and then we have the love rub, the jalapeno and garlic. We have another seasoning in the works, which would be a third seasoning, and we want those 6 products to be our kind of our flagship products. Your 3
Right.
sauces, your 3 seasonings. From there, we plan on doing a lot more of limited time, like limited edition products, and then dabble and maybe come out with a few here and there, and then seeing what works and what doesn't, and then building on from there. So in the next, now that we have this kind of our business structure, kind of we're in business now, and we're kind of starting to get a little comfortable with where we are, and we have our flagship products pretty much done. Then the next thing is creating new products, limited time, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, creating a wholesale for restaurants, so restaurants can use their products.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of like
That's kind of
seasonal
next.
products too, like
Yeah, like if you like we're friends with we have one of our mentors and stuff we're friends with is the gentleman at Breton Brewery,
right.
The ownership group there, and so we kind of follow their lead in a lot of ways. So typically what they came out with their flagship their beer,
Right.
and from once they establish their flagship products, you see seasonal products, you see
Pumpkin
just limited
spice.
edition.
Yeah.
Exactly, limited dish. So
Yeah.
like we like something that we've talked about. There's nothing said. So we would love to do a barbecue sauce with Breton Brewery, have like a Black Angus barbecue or something along those lines. We would like to do hot sauce or in different seasonal items. And because once you're in so many stores, like if you can't have those things. It's harder and harder to have those things as flagship, because if you're in 100 stores, that's if you have 3 more products, that's a lot of inventory you have to hold. That's a lot of more shelf space that you need. So these, once you have your flagships, then you can move into these limited time things where you're not carrying a crazy ton of inventory and you're not having to stock 100 stores with you. Would have to just get it right from Island Sosco or select
Right.
suppliers or whatever. But it's one of the reasons people always ask us about hot sauce, and we're going to get into some hot sauces, but it was once again with that market research I told you about, where there was Dave's here and there was lots of Mad Gringo and lots of other hot sauce companies that we just didn't want to be another hot sauce company. The barbecue sauce and the seasonings, there was an opening there, but the hot sauce, we get that question all the time. So don't worry, folks, we're coming with one.
There you go. You also run a takeout service down in Open Hearth Park. How's that going for you?
It's going good. It's going good. It's great because it gives us a lot of, it's part of our business model. And we actually have a catering side of our business as well. So we do caterings, and that so that kind of goes hand in hand. We use that facility for catering, our takeout food. And it puts us right in the community too. So we get to be a part of the community. We get to do a lot of stuff there. It's another revenue stream. When we built the business, we built it on the aspects of having multiple revenue streams. So, there's an online store, there's our wholesale, there's our catering business, there's our takeout food business, and then there'll be a retail side. We're opening a store at the Mayflower Mall, late October. We had one last year as well. It's just seasonal for the 3 months, but that was a huge game changer last year. We got the store at the Mayflower Mall. I was proud. It was our first year in business, and we're a local company, and we had a pretty sweet looking store in the Mayflower Mall, so that was pretty sweet. We did well there, so we're back there. So you asked about the food shop. That's going great, and it's just one aspect of our business that we're trying to build multiple revenue streams so we can survive, thrive, and grow, and add more, and add more value to the community.
Perfect. Okay, so final question. It's a bit of an open-ended one. If you had one piece of advice for somebody wanting to break into the food product business, what might it be?
Thanks for asking. That's a great question. I would even like to make that a little more broad. Just break into business in general, because it's one thing I always say is, like I mentioned this, I think at the start of the conversation, is that I'm a regular guy. I'm not. It's anyone can. If I can, do it. Really, I'm just anybody can. You know what I mean? Like I'm nothing. We're not special. I think I'm kind of below average in most things. So if I can, it takes a lot of hard work. if and you notice at the start of the interview, all the work I put in prior to launching, like if
Yeah.
you have to put in a lot of work and take your time, make sure all your stuff's in the right place, but you can do it. Cape Breton's full of great people. Nova Scotia's full of great people. And it's breaking through those barriers where people used to think like, oh, we can't do it here, or they would move. Yes, we can do it here. You just have to have the belief. It might take a little more hard work at the start, but people like me, there's lots of Breton Brewers. You can go on and on, and there's more and more businesses popping up, more and more people around here and having the belief. So I guess to answer your question, to break into the food business or any business is just put in a lot of work in the beginning to make sure you have a solid plan and be committed to it, but and just believe that you can do it here. And and there's people there to help you, and there's people in services. I'm one of them. If any aspiring entrepreneur in the local area has any questions or needs any help, you can always contact me, and I'll do the best I can to help.
Super. I mean, it's great. It's great to hear that you're working with the guys at Breton Brewing. They're great guys, and they're very community minded as well. And I really admire, the fact that all these new entrepreneurs are so helpful to each other and aware that what they're doing is, a lot of it's community driven. Obviously, they need to make a living and support their families, but there's a strong community aspect of what people do nowadays, and I really appreciate that.
No, I love it too, and it's
And someone in my age group would say, would make lots of money and pay lots of taxes.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So anything else to add, or?
No, and just I really appreciate it. I love goCapeBreton. I've been a follower and an advocate of goCapeBreton for quite some time. You guys do great stuff in the community. Just let everyone know, Mayflower Mall this Christmas. Come check us out. We're gonna have a store there. We're opening in late October. We're gonna have tons of great Christmas gifts, tons of sauce, clothing. Be a good time.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for your time today, Keven.
My pleasure.
I've been speaking with Keven Taylor, co-founder of Island Sauce Company in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and we'll see you next time on Cape Breton Movers and Shakers.